Okay, so y'all know one of my goals this month was to read, well, just in general, is to read one nonfiction, 1 to 2 every week or so. And I do the Cornell notes to better understand what I'm reading and kind of engage with it better. So I ended up doing it on my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of read the questions and the notes that I have so far on from my iPad instead of writing it down because I've been listening to the audiobook while I've been driving. So it's kind of like when I stop, I just put like the questions and notes I have so far every time I have to stop. So probably for the next one I'll end up writing, but we'll see. I kind of like this setup better, but if you would want me to put like the screenshots of how I do it in my notes, just let me know and I'll do that for the next video. But I'm 30% into 107 Days by Kamala Harris because y'all know the only reason I would read it is if the library had it, and the library had it. So I was like, okay, let me read it. So what I have so far, I'm gonna go through like the questions and the notes. So the questions, first off, was why were the Clintons willing to endorse immediately and the Obamas weren't? That blew me because I was like, why is a white person willing to automatically endorse and y'all isn't, especially because y'all know what's at stake and y'all know Biden waited too late to drop out. And that exactly is where I was like, this is my beef with establishment Democrats. Y'all want to play by the rules and Republicans threw the rule book out years ago. Okay. Then I put, why was Kamala so loyal to Biden? Because I just genuinely could not understand. As I'm reading through this book, it feels like Biden never saw Kamala as his equal. He never saw her as a partner. He chose her just because he felt he had to. I don't like him. I don't like Biden. If it was one thing this book is reiterating, is how much I don't like Biden. Then there was one point in the book where she's discussing that Fox News or some media outlet was putting out this narrative about her high turnover rate and how it must just be awful to work for her. And then she acknowledges that it is like essentially a 24/7 job with low pay. And it's like, well, why would we expect anybody to take a job like that? And then obviously she gets into talking about isn't real and the genocide. And my questions have thus been, why are y'all so adamant about Israel's right to exist and commit genocide under the guise of fake security threats? Then I'm like, why won't these folks acknowledge that October 7th doesn't compare to the atrocities Israel has committed for decades, along with the fact that October 7th happened as a result of the colonization and atrocious crimes that have been committed for decades on end before it escalated to October 7th. So that was frustrating. And then I was like, the question where she says, why aren't folks protesting at Trump rallies? Yet Trump isn't the person vying for these people's votes. Like, Trump has a dedicated voter base. So that take to me just falls flat every single time I hear it, because telling people to go to Trump's rallies and do the same thing, y'all know what y'all are telling them to do. Y'all are telling them to go get hurt. Y'all are telling them to go get themselves killed because y'all know exactly how them Trump voters get active. And then my notes as I was kind of reading through is, of course, Newsom didn't reply when she was talking about like her, calling people to get their support. Of course, he didn't reply because he wants to run. Then I said Biden knew he shouldn't have waited that damn late to drop out the race because let's be so serious. Then I said Biden staffers who are representative of him were actively throwing Kamala under the bus, yet she still showed deep loyalty for him, which is why I said she showed loyalty to him at a fault. Then I said, it's really no shocker that a white man didn't defend the attacks on a black woman, because it seems like throughout this book, we're talking about all the ways that Fox News and these media pundits were attacking her, and the Biden staffers did absolutely nothing to combat this with her actual experience, so that I can understand why it's frustrating. And then obviously I have my notes about how she addresses the Israel and Hamas attacks and those things, and how she talks about, I'm not ambivalent about Israel's security. And I put, she has all this smoke for Netanyahu's loyalty to Trump, yet still doing his bidding in Israel's fight to displace Palestinians. It genuinely just does not make sense to me. And then I put, y'all love to discuss Hamas, but not the crimes of the IDF, which is real interesting. And then Trump's voters don't care about genocide, so this take falls flat to me was another note that I put in conjunction with the question of why aren't folks protesting at Trump's rallies, yet Trump isn't vying for these people's vote. So that is my 30% update. This is definitely long, so feel free to speed it up. But I will probably come back at maybe 50, and then another at 80, and then just like a full review that also has my summary attached at the end.